You are listening to the B.I.G. Show with your hosts, Calvin and Garland. The B.I.G. Show is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Here are your hosts, Calvin and Garland.
It's the big show.
Woo! Yeah, y'all. Welcome to the repass. If you don't
We're
know what
back.
you don't know what the repass is, the repass is what happens after the funeral. There's a funeral. Usually, the church provides some food and refreshments to the grieving family after the service, and so
I'm torn between calling the title of this episode "The Repass" or "There's some bullshit." I can't quite decide. Listen, we're live on YouTube. We're on all the podcast platforms. If you have Spotify, you'll be able to see my morning ass face and walking over there just as tickled as a goddamn pig.
Bro, you know what, man? Let's just go ahead and get right into it, y'all, because this has been a couple days in the making. So
A week, almost a week.
almost a week in the making. So, oh goodness. All right. NFL Divisional weekend wrap up, and let's go ahead and recap, and we're just gonna go ahead and start with the home team, homie. Baltimore Ravens. They lost a close game on Sunday night, 27-25, to the Buffalo Bills. Um, Lamar Jackson, he threw for 254, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Derrick Henry ran for 84 yards and had 1 touchdown. Justice Hill also did very well. He had 50 yards on 6 carries. Isaiah Likely and Rashad Bateman both had receiving touchdowns. Likely has 73 yards on 4 receptions, and Bateman has 66 yards on 4 receptions. They both were targeted 5 times, and so they did pretty well. Actually, Mark Andrews led the team in receptions. 5 receptions, 61 yards, but
Ain't
no
that a
touchdown.
bitch?
But he had a critical fumble and a drop 2 point conversion. Pretty much they held Josh Allen in check. He only threw for 127 yards, 16 for 22. No touchdowns through the air. He did score 2 times on the ground, running it in. James Cook, he only had 67 yards on the ground. Um, they had one receiver with 6 receptions, Khalil Shakir. He didn't have any touchdowns. And so most of the Bills' damage was done off of Ravens' turnover. Ravens got the ball, came down, scored on that first drive. Buffalo came back and scored, and then we had a Lamar fumble, which they ran back into Ravens territory. They scored from there, and then they had one more touchdown before the half, so it was 21-10 at half. And then I came out in the second half, and actually Ravens played well. They held them scoreless in the third quarter. Ravens put up a touchdown, didn't get the 2 point conversion, 2 field goals. And then in the fourth quarter, Bills, they kicked 2 field goals. One field goal came off of a forced fumble by Mark Andrews. And the Ravens, they scored on a dime from Lamar to Likely, went for the 2. And we know what happened with the 2 point conversion. And so, all right, I laid it all out there. I'm gonna let my grieving brother go first. What did
So
you see? What did you like? What did you hate? And so forth and so on.
So number one, and everybody will blame Mark Andrews, and I'm angry with Mark Andrews, but I'm also angry with Lamar too, because you cannot have 3 turnovers and expect to win a game. We came close, we almost pulled it out, but those 3 turnovers were critical. Now, of course, the first one, the interception, I don't know where the fuck he was throwing the ball. I have no idea, but the problem was, I mean, they stopped him from getting in the end zone, but that's momentum that was shut down in the first half. Then the fumble leads to a touchdown. Then the Mark Andrews fumble. I think that was either a field goal or a touchdown it led to, but you can't. They scored off of the turnover, so that's the difference in the game right there. Everything is hindsight. You got people talking about he shouldn't have gone for the 2-point conversion so early. I'm gonna tell you, if you're in the game and watching the game like most of us, and I take the word of the crew that me and Garland are part of. It's 5 of us, and we all have different opinions. And none of us were really against that first 2-point conversion,
Didn't
because
have
if
a
you're
problem.
actually in the game and watching the game, it felt like a momentum shift going back to the Ravens. It felt like that was the time to do it. It
And
felt
and let me
like,
jump in on what you're saying right there.
mhm,
Also, let's not forget that Justin Tucker was missing a lot of extra points during the season. It's snowing, it's cold, ground's hard, ball's hard. I don't have a problem with it because you want to get back into it. It gives you a chance to
exactly.
tie it up. I don't necessarily. Some people say it was too aggressive. I don't necessarily think it was too
No,
aggressive. It was just, hey, you got momentum. Let's go ahead and do it.
absolutely.
That we can't save it for next week.
Absolutely.
We can't save it
And
for next week.
and you never know what kind of position that puts the Bills in. The Bills are in up 11 going into the half. You come
Right.
out and you tie that game, that might put them on their heels. That puts pressure on them. So you
Exactly.
just never know. None of us had a problem with it when it happened. And to be very honest, it was a good play call. He was wide open. Milano just made a great play on the
Made a
ball.
play.
He tipped the ball. He just made a good play. It's one of them. You can't be mad at that. I tell you where I was mad, and I think a lot of us feel the same way. When the Ravens, when they had their backs against the wall, Lamar throws this absolute scorcher to Bateman, who
Right.
catches it and gets tackled at the 1 yard line
Beautiful throw.
again, just as in last year's AFC Championship game. You are the leading rushing team in the NFL. You have Derrick Henry, who's top 2 runners in the game this season. You have Lamar Jackson, the best running quarterback we've ever seen, and you run the ball one time. You run the ball on first down, then the second down, you try some little trick play that didn't work. It gets Lamar sacked. And then third down, you try another pass and it doesn't work. You got to settle for the field goal. I would have been happy with at least the first and second down run. But shit, run it all 3 times. I mean, you are the leading rushing team in the NFL. Or fake the run. You didn't even do a great play action, which leads me to another thing. I don't know. It seems like they didn't call any design runs for Lamar. All of his running yards in this game were scrambles.
Mm-hmm.
And where was the RPO, which I put on Lamar because it looks like he only allowed them to tackle Derrick Henry. Maybe they played defense well enough where he never saw himself having a lane, but when
Well,
has that ever stopped him before?
we know there was one RPO, and guess what happened on the RPO? Lamar fumbled.
Uh, uh, well, I think he was trying to gather himself after the
He was
snap was
trying to
high.
get
He was
he
trying to
once
gather
he
himself
gathered, but he
together.
said it was an RPO. He could,
Yeah,
and once he
yeah.
saw it broke down, he's trying to make a play, and in the midst of trying to make a play, he fumbles.
It's just, I just, it just feels like they were snake bitten. Now, to be
Mhm.
very honest, I'm really just upset at some of the execution. You can't help but be upset with Mark Andrews. That first fumble, I think everybody was looking around like, why are you trying to get extra yards? With
Right.
5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you already got the first down. You got 3 defenders in front of you. Just go down. That's what you normally do, or run out of bounds. It's like you turn up the field to try to shake somebody. No, you know what I mean? But they overcame that. And then I'm so sick of hearing this anti-Lamar rhetoric with the whole Mark Andrews dropped that ball. That ball was in his breadbasket. I'm
Yeah.
so sick of that. Oh, well, Lamar froze him with the fake, and then Lamar he threw it too late. You know what Lamar did? Lamar made sure he did not make a mistake on that play because he's prone to do something every now and then that you kind of look at like, what are you doing? Just like the interception. So Lamar kind of, you could see he was not hesitant, but he wanted to make sure that Mark was wide open, and he was wide open. And he dropped the
He
pass, man.
put it on him. hit hit him in the hands, both hands, hit him a
Both
ball,
numbers.
both numbers, ball hit him in the chest, and he just
He dropped the ball.
that's what you and let me I think the thing here for me is, as much as we talk about the Chiefs and you gotta play the referees in the Chiefs, when the Chiefs get in games like that, they're clean games. Mahomes doesn't fumble. He doesn't throw any interceptions. Travis Kelsey catches everything. He doesn't fumble. Just think about the AFC Championship last year. They came in here. Mahomes didn't throw any picks. He did not fumble. Kelsey, I won't say destroyed Hamilton, but he had his
I
way.
mean,
he had his way, and he caught everything. Did not fumble. And so, to me, that's the difference. I think Belichick said it earlier this season. Miles Garrett said it. The Ravens' opponent, worst opponent, is the Ravens. That's their
it
worst
is.
opponent.
It
Because
is.
we were talking in the barbershop yesterday, and it was like, I can't really complain about the offensive game. I mean, I could say a thing here, a thing there, but they didn't punt the whole game. So they were moving the ball. They people, why they didn't run Henry enough? They didn't necessarily need to run Henry that much.
Exactly. Exactly.
When they needed to run him, they ran him. When they needed to run Justice Hill, they ran him. But they were getting everything, just about everything they wanted, they got. Defensively, they made great adjustment at halftime. They came out,
Amazing adjustment
yeah,
at halftime.
and they pitched basically a shutout. They kept them out of the end zone. And yeah, but in the end, it's I know Lamar was upset and he was cursing and everything, and I appreciate him for taking that responsibility. But yeah, it's you can't beat yourself, and I think that's the thing that people were saying about the Bills. Josh Allen, they didn't beat themselves.
They didn't beat
They
themselves.
didn't beat themselves. They did not put it on the ground. They did not throw the interception. That was negated. They didn't score off of that. Okay, I was looking at something on Twitter, and they were saying that the two biggest impacts on the game was Lamar's fumble had the biggest impact because they scored 7 off of that,
Hmm.
and then Andrews' fumble, which they scored 3 off of. That's 10 points. That's an 8-point swing. That's an
And
8-point swing right there, and they lose by 2. And so that's an 8-point swing, and yeah, if they don't give up that 10, the Ravens win by at least 8 points or
and
more.
I completely agree with you. So
Mhm.
I don't really, we like to put it on Harbaugh and Munkin, and I don't want to say we like to. They deserve it a lot of times. I
Sure.
can't really give them this one this
Right.
time because, like you said, a lot of people were like, "Well, when Derrick Henry runs for over 20 yards, 20 carries, they win."
Right.
Yeah,
When he
but
runs
that's
for
when
over,
he needs to.
that's when he
He
needs
didn't
to.
need to this game. Like there was no need for him to get any more. Well, let me back up. Except down at that goal line where
Except
he
at the
should have
goal
gotten
line.
at least one more carry, which still wouldn't have put him over 20. But I mean, the game script did not force the Ravens to have to run that much. Lamar was pretty accurate. And in the second half, he was a monster. And
Right.
the run game came on. Like it
Right.
just it it,
It
it was it's
clicked.
the execution.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned Mahomes. So I was listening to a stat actually yesterday, and they were talking about game-winning drives in the playoffs and how there were like a total of 145, and they just went through some who were the best ones at it. I believe they said Tom Brady was at like 45% in game-winning drives in the playoffs. Drew Brees was at 50%. Do you know Patrick Mahomes in game-winning drives in the playoffs is 100%, 7 for 7.
Wow. Wow.
That I mean, that's one of those stats that you have to look at and say, in clutch time, who do you want to have the ball? I mean, we talk about Why is Mahomes to go? And we talked all season. He
Mm-hmm.
hasn't played this well. He hasn't played that well. He is truly one of those players where we were trying to get our fans to think about Lamar this year, where he doesn't care about an MVP. He wants that Super Bowl ring.
Right.
He wants the Super Bowl MVP if he's going to get one. I mean, 7 for 7 in playoff games and game winning or game time drives. They say game winning or game time drives.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes is 7 for 7. Lamar's not 7 for 7, and
Right.
and that's what we need now. Again, Lamar cannot be mad. You know how they say how he was like, "We're a team. I can't be mad. You got my back. I got yours." He has to, because in the first half it was his fuck ups. In the second
Mm-hmm.
half, it's Mark Andrews' fuck up. It
Mm-hmm.
it it hurts so bad because Mark Andrews has been the most reliable hands for
Bro,
Lamar Jackson his entire career. There has
son,
been no one
there was
more
games he was just throwing it up downfield, and I was like, I know Marcus down there.
reliable. That's it. That's it.
There
Now,
was, yeah,
if you actually look at Mark's playoff
yeah,
receiving,
his numbers dropped.
his stats are bad. His stats
Yeah,
are
his
very
numbers
bad.
dropped. And
So
I think it's a combination of some stuff. Sometimes they're behind.
yeah,
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 yeah.
because I think they get a lot, and in Lamar's early career, they getting a lot of that pass off of the play action and stuff. But if they're behind in a lot of these playoff games, it does not give them that opportunity to do that. And then because he was pretty much wide receiver one, he's getting double probably all over
Absolutely,
the field. So
absolutely,
yeah. Yeah, so
absolutely.
they're not paying attention to Hollywood Brown or Willie Sneed or Miles Borkin. Trust me, they were not paying attention to them. And so yeah, let's not forget. Let's not get crazy, people. All this, we gotta let him go. No,
So
he's a vital part of the team.
the only reason that if the Ravens move on from him, it's all cap casualty.
Mhm.
It will have nothing to do with his performance. It'll be cap casualty, and because you have Isaiah Likely that you can fall
Well,
back
well, guess what? He'll go to Kansas City and he'll catch everything.
on, because Kelsey is on the back end of his
Right.
career,
He'll go to
and
Kansas City and he'll catch everything.
remember Andrews and Lamar came in at the
Uh-huh.
same time.
He, he'll be Megan the Stallion will be up in the stands, up in the booth with with
No, no,
Mahomes'
no.
father
He'll
and wife.
he won't go to Kansas City. He'll go to Cincinnati. They'll let what's his face walk, and they'll bring in Mark
T.
Andrews, and
Higgins.
won't they'll let T. Higgins walk, bring in Mark Andrews for less money, and
Right.
won't lose a beat, won't lose a step.
Yeah.
Won't
Yeah.
lose a step.
So be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish
But
for.
Mark ain't going nowhere.
Mark ain't going
Mark
nowhere.
ain't going
Was this worse, harder to digest than last year's AFC Championship? Because there are people like one of the hosts on this show that have not still watched the AFC Championship game from last year in full. And so, what was the worst loss? This one or last year the AFC Championship?
So the AFC Championship game meant more,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of makes it outweigh um, this game. But I think because of the personnel and the record-setting season that Lamar had, and the season that Derrick Henry had, and the way the offense can click, I think this one hurt a little more. I know a lot of time we all said last year was our year. We couldn't necessarily say this year was our year because we weren't in the AFC Championship game, but
Sure.
I had a great feeling that they win this Bills game, they can beat the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I want to say this year hurts a little more, and it's probably more recency bias because I was distraught after the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. To me, last year's loss was rougher because we were right there.
Right there.
We were right there. This year it was tough. I mean, it snowed here, and after the game, I went outside and shoveled the snow. Double wide driveway, sidewalks, and leading up to the house, the steps and the porch. I went outside and I spent the hour outside. It was cold,
You ain't even had to
shoveling
shovel the
snow.
snow.
I
You
didn't even have to shovel it. Was
just
off the
stood there
next
with
day.
your sit there with your anger and let it all melt around
Right. I could have did that. I'm like, I'm off tomorrow. I don't really even have to be out here. But here I am, the only person outside, mad, shoveling snow. Yeah, so tough loss.
Tough
Another,
loss. Tough
hey, we got to do it again next year. All
loss.
those things. The Ravens got some decisions to make in terms of the roster, and we'll talk about that a little as we get closer to the off season and all those things and what that roster will look like. But yeah, it's another tough loss, and I think it's a learning experience. I think as long as we have Lamar, the window's going to be open. The window's going to be
Always
open
got a
next year.
chance.
It's going to be
Yeah.
the AFC North is not going to be strong next year. I mean, you got Pittsburgh who's trying to decide on a quarterback. Um, Cincinnati needs to decide if they're going to keep Higgins or Chase, or give Chase all the money that he wants,
Or give
and,
or give or pay both of them and
or
let the
pay both of
defense
them
suffer
and let the
again.
defense suffer. And the Browns, Watson, he had to have Achilles surgery again, so he's out for the whole year again.
He
And
got
so
hurt on the rehab.
yeah, got hurt on rehab. They lost their running back, Chubb. He's, probably not going to play to the middle of the year. And so all they have is Miles Garrett out there, and he may not be there at the end of this season as well. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens. And so let's talk about a couple of the other games. Hey, the Chiefs and the referees, they beat the Texans. Now, this game, I think people's beef is legitimate. The Chiefs, they beat the Texans 23-14. Um, it was a close game, and it was really helped by the referee. There was some questionable roughing the passer calls, some questionable things that happened in terms of the refereeing of the game. But again, the Chiefs show up when they need to show up. Travis Kelce, he has 7 receptions for 117 yards and a touchdown.
The most
Um,
ever in his playoff career.
Crazy. Although Mahomes only threw for 177 yards, he didn't throw any interceptions, just one touchdown. And the defense played very solid. Um, what are your thoughts about that game and this whole thing about the Chiefs and the referees?
So the referees definitely gave the Chiefs some calls, but I don't think that's why the Chiefs won. The first half, the Broncos had them twice. They should have dropped 14 points on them. The first one, the Chiefs went up. The return was damn near in the red zone, and the Broncos held them to three. The next series, they got them down in the red zone and held them to three. Those right there, the Broncos should have gone up 14-6. You go up 14-6 on the Chiefs, you might have a shot in the first half, but they didn't do anything. The Broncos, their offense was putrid. They just didn't do much until the second half, and then they missed the field goal. The extra point. They
Right.
had to tie the game, and just like we talked about the 2 point conversion, that may have been a momentum shift. Once they missed that extra point, it kind of felt like, damn, we were right there, and we let it go again. So the referees didn't help, but I don't think that the referees are the reason Denver lost the game. I think Denver lost the game. They
Texans.
didn't execute. I'm sorry.
Mm,
Houston lost. I kept saying
mm,
Denver.
it's
Houston
hard.
lost the game because they didn't execute. And then when you get into the second half with Houston, I don't know if their favorite cheese is Swiss cheese because there was so many holes in that goddamn offensive line.
Yeah, they could
And
not block.
then you're putting tight ends and running backs on their best pass rusher. It's like, what are you doing? They're coming off the corner, just killing Stroud.
Yeah.
I don't know. They should have added an extra offensive lineman in there, something. They would just, I don't know. They
Yeah.
lost the
As a
game.
result, Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator, was fired yesterday as a result of that.
Really?
Yes, Slowick
I
was fired.
did
That's
not
your
know
boy.
that.
Yes,
He was
Slowick was
he
fired.
was he was the number one guy last year,
He
head
was a hot
coaching
guy.
candidate.
He was a hot guy last year.
I did
A
not
name
know
was
they
mentioned in
fired
a lot of
Slow.
head coaching jobs. I think he came out of the Shanahan tree because he was in San
Wow.
Francisco with Ryans, and when Ryans got the job, he brought him to Houston with him. So they let go Slowick and the offensive line coach and someone else as well,
Oh,
and on the offensive side of the ball. And so yeah, so they're looking for a new OC next season. I know Calvin likes Slowick a lot, but
I
this
like
year they
Sorg last season. Last
yeah
season. Last season.
last season, but yeah they had a lot of problems and they could not block when they needed to, and so
Side note, you might hear Garland may talk about some things that you might hear me say, really, that happened? I haven't really listened or watched any sports since the Ravens lost
bro.
last Sunday. I just heard this morning that
Right.
Brian Schottenhammer was hired.
Shot and hard. Yeah, we're gonna talk. Trust me, it's been very selective for me as well. Very
So
selective.
forgive me if I seem like I haven't been doing my homework.
Mm,
I've been on strike for a
it's,
while.
it's quite all right. Hey, bro, John Mara, I'm sure he's sick all over again about Saquon. During the Hard Knocks preseason, they covered the Giants, and the owner of the Giants, one of the owners of the Giants, John Mara, he was like, "Hey, if Saquon goes to Philadelphia, I'm just going to be sick." And the general manager, he's just a laughing. Oh no, you gotta worry about it, guy. He'll be okay. And Saquon, went and had a great season. Well, Saquon really showed his booty, but in the playoffs, Saquon ran for 205. He had a run as long as 78 yards, and I think he had a 62 yarder in the game as well. Very tight game. Really, I think the weather played a major, major factor in this. Philly, they won 22. Stafford threw for 321 and two touchdowns. I think if the weather was a little bit more cooperative, it might have, and they drove down and they scored to make it, because pretty much I thought it was over when when Saquon ran on that 78 yard. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
it's over. And then Rams came right back and scored, and then they got the ball right back again. And Jalen Carter made two great plays on the defensive line. They didn't have any. They did lose a fumble. Stafford, he fumbled twice. He lost once. And Kyron Williams, although he ran for over 100 yards, he fumbled and lost his fumble as well. Any thoughts about the Eagles game? Jalen Hurts, he did not have a great game. He only threw for 128 yards, no touchdowns, really. Saquon was the person that carried him, although Jalen did score on a run of 44 yards for a touchdown.
Um, just one possibly unpopular opinion. This season, since the arrival of Saquon Barkley in Philly, and you mentioned Jalen didn't have a good game. Jalen had a Jalen game. Jalen Hurts is now a game manager.
Wow.
He
He's
is. Let's.
he's Joe Flacco. He's the black Joe Flacco.
He is. And let me give him a little more credit. He's an above average game manager. Saquon, it makes that offense go. If you look at the numbers for AJ Brown, Dallas Scott has been hurt, but they got the guy Galcatero, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
If you look at the second wide receiver, man, I can't remember his name right now. I don't know why we always forget names. But if you
Deontay
yeah,
Smith.
yeah,
Devontae
yeah,
Smith.
Devonta Smith. So if you look at their numbers, they're not the numbers that they would normally put up, especially
Right.
AJ Brown. AJ Brown was frustrated in a whole bunch of games this season
Yeah.
that he wasn't getting the ball. But it's because they don't need the pass is the complement to the run. They are a running team with a great defense. So he's really a game manager, an above average game manager right now.
Yeah.
I think they can. I think they can take that to the Super Bowl. I think
I
they can
think
take
so as
that to
well.
the
AJ
victory.
Brown, he only had two receptions in the game for 14 yards, and Devontae Smith, he had four receptions for 21 yards. And so, yeah, not a lot of activity from your wide receivers. Tight end Goddard, he had four receptions for 56, and Saquon, he had four out of the backfield for 27. And so he basically was just a dump off in a lot of those plays. And so, yeah, I'm with you as well. I think Philly can probably do something. I think they face a tough opponent, and that brings us to our last game. The Moes went up to Detroit. What up, though? And it probably was just because Detroit didn't have anybody else. I think they tried to put um, They try to put Papa Doc out there to play safety, and that whole crew, Papa Doc's crew, they try to put them out the 717. They try to put them out there to play, and
Free
yeah,
world.
yeah, Free World. They try to put Free World out there. Cheddar Bob was playing defensive end at one time. I think they had all the characters from that movie out there. They had the one from the one Detroit where the group they was in the riot and the police was torturing them. They had everybody out there because they didn't have anybody left. I think they went and got Stevie, try to see if Stevie could play as well. And so that turned out into a game of attrition, which the Commanders won 45-31. Jared Goff, he saved his worst game for his last game, 3 interceptions, although he threw for 313. Jaden Daniels was the star of the game, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns. And they killed them in the pass game. They did all right with the run, but it was the pass game that pretty much sealed the fate for them. They could not stop them in terms of what they were doing. When they wanted to throw the ball, they did, and no pass rush, no defense. And so, just your thoughts about the Moes? They're 1 step closer to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. So congratulations to them. Jaden Daniels is having a hell of a rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly the best rookie season ever. Side note, if Jaden Daniels finds a way to beat the Eagles, we're gonna have to hear that. Jaden Daniels is better than Lamar Jackson because he made it to the Super Bowl as a rookie. We're gonna have to hear that.
Hey, well,
Anyway, moving back, moving back to the game.
and
let me you've said it before. I've heard it on podcasts.
Mhm.
And it's true, but I believe it in a different way, which is that Detroit Lions team was coaching malpractice in that game. And I think they were coaching malpractice because the Commanders could not stop Jameer Gibbs. But what they wanted to seem to do was try to show off Jared Goff. Keep running Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah,
He was getting chunk yardage.
yeah.
They could not stop him.
I think
But you
once they
wanted Goff,
got behind, they
they
had to
panicked.
throw. Yeah,
But
well,
they
they had to
panicked.
throw. They once they got behind, they had to throw, and that meant that you could not take time to run the ball as much as you want to keep
But you
because I guess the proper defense would have been to keep Jaden Daniels and the Commanders off the field offensively, and you get that by running the ball. I don't think they could run the ball as much as they wanted because they were behind by so much.
but
They,
that's
they
what I
had to
mean.
throw to get back in.
In
Mhm.
order to get behind by so much, you first got to get behind by one score.
Right.
Don't panic. Don't. How many times have we said that about the Ravens? Stop panicking. Stick
Yeah.
to the game plan.
You
Stop
know you
panicking.
you know your boy Campbell. He's risk it no biscuit. Yeah.
Risk it, no biscuit. And he got beat at his own game because did the Commanders not go for any fourth downs? Like they were going for him. They
Yeah.
beat him at his own game, man. And
Yeah.
and shout out to DC, man. And they put once you give a team the inkling that they can beat you and they're the underdog and in enemy territory, which they did with the Commanders, they gave them that sense that the Commanders were like, well, wait a minute, we are slicing through this defense. It was all over. It was
Yeah.
all over. It was all over. It was all over.
Yeah, as I was coming in the parking garage on, I think it was Wednesday, coming up the steps, saw some guy with a commander hat on. I wanted to trip him so bad. Like, y'all front running clowns. But anyway, let me get over it. And so let's go ahead and do a quick overreaction, not an overreaction. As a matter of fact, let's start off with the Lions. The Lions will not make the playoffs next season. Overreaction, not an overreaction. And now, they lost their offensive coordinator, their
Wow.
defensive coordinator to head
Yeah.
coaching jobs. What's your thought?
Wow. I expect the Packers to make it.
Mm,
Now the
what about
Minnesota
Minnesota?
thing,
Hmm.
it's the quarterback thing for Minnesota. Um, the Lions will get their defense stronger. Overreaction. Lions will make the
Overreaction.
playoffs next year. Yeah, they'll make the playoffs.
I would say not an overreaction.
Okay.
We saw the impact of losing staff here in Baltimore, what it did to the defense, at least to start the season. I'm not sure if they're going to, who's on the staff that they're going to promote from within. Don't know if, Campbell's going to let them take some of the staff that's currently there. I know Belichick, I saw an interview with him. He's like, when people leave, I tell them they can't take any staff with them. They have to go and build their own staff. And so I heard that there's rumor that Matt Eberflus, he's going to be going to run the defense in Dallas. I think in Chicago, Brian Johnson, he's going to bring in. Is his name Brian Johnson? No, it's not Brian Johnson. Excuse me. It is Ben Johnson.
Ben
Ben
Johnson.
Johnson. He's going to bring in the guy who was just fired, Dennis Allen, from he was just fired in New Orleans to be the defensive coordinator there. And so we'll see what happens. But I think when you lose two major staff people like that, it definitely does cause a shift. And so I would like to see what happens. The Ravens, they should move on from John Harbaugh. Overreaction, not an overreaction.
Wow. Side note: the definition of insanity is not doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That is not the definition of insanity. So stop that, people. But it's
Right.
just it's a good play on it. Wow, because you know how I feel about
I know
Harbaugh.
how you feel about Harbaugh.
I feel about Harbaugh.
Harbaugh. I know how you feel about Harbaugh.
Uh,
Mm.
I'm gonna say overreaction. I don't think he did a horrible job this season at all. And when it came down to these games that mattered, I really think he held his own, with maybe the exception that I can right off the top of my head that I can think of in that Pittsburgh loss. But yeah, I think John did a great job this season.
Yeah, I agree with you. Overreaction. I think we had to realize this, and I know this is going to sound sacrilegious coming out of my mouth because, like I said, John Harbaugh cost you at least 1 to 2 games this season. He's a top five coach.
No, you're gonna have to realize that we've had it. He's a Hall of Fame coach, Garland.
He's a Hall of Fame coach.
Okay, all right.
He's a Hall of Fame
Yeah,
coach.
you heard it.
All he all he's done is basically win. And now he hasn't won Super Bowls, but all he's basically done is lead the team to the playoffs. They've won a game or two. He's found good coaches. I mean, if you look at his tree, people coming out the tree,
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. He's
Mm-hmm.
found great. He's set a culture of winning. No, he's not a tactician. No, he's not. He's not Andy Reid. But his strength is finding good people who can do that scheming. Todd Monken probably was one of his best hires in the last couple years. Mike McDonald, what he's gone to
Mm-hmm.
Seattle to do. And so yeah, he's done
Zach
fairly
Orr has
well.
come on this
Zach
season.
Orr's done very well. Chuck Pagano, when he left to go
Mm-hmm.
to Indianapolis, he had a couple good seasons there. Now, although I wouldn't say Rex Ryan is out of his tree, but Rex Ryan was on
Rex
his
Ryan had
staff
some good seasons
in New York when he's with the Jets.
but now
And
Rex
so,
Rex is more of a I think Rex is more of a billet guy, isn't he? Isn't
yeah,
Rex?
he was on Billick's staff. And, you could probably say he's out of his father's tree because, his father was the
Yeah,
D
yeah.
coordinator as well. And so, yeah, so, overreaction.
Okay,
Uh,
okay, Garland.
the Eagles will go only as far as Jalen Hurts takes them. Overreaction or not an overreaction?
Um, I'm gonna say overreaction. I call him a game manager, but they still need him. Like he's the tush push guy. They still need him. He still helps that offense. So I'm gonna say overreaction. Although I think
Yeah,
Saquon is the key, but overreaction.
yeah. Saquon he's the key. I think they'll go far. He doesn't have to come out and throw for 300 yards. If he comes out and throws for 300 yards and a couple touchdowns, then great. They're blowing you out.
Yeah,
But as
but
long
he
as he's
protects the ball, and
yeah,
he protects
protect
the
the
ball.
ball, make good decisions with the ball, they'll be okay. And the last one, The NFL wants the Chiefs to repeat. Overreaction or not an overreaction?
Not an overreaction. The NFL would love for the Chiefs
They
to
love
repeat.
it. I
They'd
agree
love
with you.
to set another record, to hold something up. Whether and right now it's just about the Chiefs, but it could be any team.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It could be any team. The NFL loves for records to be broken. They love to hold that over other teams' heads. They love it. So
Yeah.
not an
Trust me, they do not want to command this Bills Super Bowl.
absolutely not.
Okay. Let's just say that. They don't want to command this Bills Super Bowl. They'll take an Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl any day. And so yeah. They want to see the Chiefs get back up in there. Let's talk a little bit about the championship game preview. We will be watching the game, even if we're just watching it passively. Commanders versus Eagles.
I'm only
This-
watching for the commercials.
Ain't no commercials in the championship game. All right, the 6 seed Commanders, they're going to Philly to play the Eagles tomorrow. That's the early game. The Commanders, of course, are coming off the big upset, and the Eagles beating the Rams in the snow. They split the regular season games, and so what are your thoughts? Who wins?
Well, first and foremost, fuck the Commanders and fuck the Eagles. Let's start there. Um,
You sound like Tupac. Fuck
that's
bad boy. Fuck
that's my
Buffy.
that's my NFL hit 'em up.
Fuck bad boy as a record label and crew.
Chino XL, fuck you too.
Right.
Nah, don't one of them niggas got sickle cell or something.
Right. Right. Little nigga got sick of self.
Nah, so I didn't think the Commanders could beat the Lions last week. And strictly based on the Lions being an outscoring team, but the Lions didn't have any defense whatsoever. The Eagles defense is much better, top notch, and I don't see the Commanders getting past the Eagles. I don't even know how close of a game it's going to be because I do believe the Eagles will do what I thought the Lions should have done is keep the ball out of the Commanders' hands by running. Now, you probably can't keep it out by running so much because Saquon break off 60 and 70-yard touchdowns. I mean, they getting the
Right.
ball right back. But I got the Eagles winning. I got the Eagles winning by at least 2 scores. I don't even know what the line is, but I got the Eagles winning by 2 scores.
Okay, wow, that's pretty big. Okay, I do have the Eagles winning as well. I just think Eagles at home defense is pretty good. I don't trust the Commanders defense. They even though the Lions were wounded, they did put up 31, and so it's they wasn't really able to stop them. The line in the Eagles game is Philly -6
Okay.
over under 47.5. And so, yeah, I like the Commanders. I just think that defense is it.
You like the Eagles?
I mean,
Oh,
sorry. I like the Eagles. I said 49ers. I like the Eagles. Eagles, the defense is it. And so I think they'll win that game going away. And the second game, the night game, Bills versus Chiefs. Of course, we know about what the Bills did last week. Chiefs are defending their title. They're looking to become the first team to win 3 straight Super Bowls. Your thoughts? Who you
um,
picking?
first off, fuck the Bills and the
it's,
Chiefs you playing.
is this Hit 'em Up Part 2? Oh, no, this is Biggie ones. No, is this Hit 'em Up Part 2? The remix?
It's the remix. um, yeah, I'm
Fuck.
I I gave you the stat on the game
Fuck
winning
Jim
drive
Kelly.
for Mahomes. I ain't
Fuck
even going.
Mark Levy.
Fuck Thurman Munson, Bruce Smith,
Thurman Thomas.
Thurman Thomas. Oh, that's right,
Bruce
Munson.
Smith.
Fuck Thurman Munson too, because he played for the Yankees. Fuck him too.
Fuck Daryl Talley. All of them.
Fuck, what's the light skinned nigga name? Reed. What's his name? What's the light skinned nigga name? The curly hair. I forgot.
Yeah, I know you talking about.
Fuck him too.
Andre Reed.
No, fuck. What's the kicker name? Fuck him too. They all the Bills fans are agreeing with me. Fuck him. Scott Norwood, that's his name. Fuck
You might as well go all
Norwood.
the way back. Fuck OJ, fuck the electric company, all of them.
Um, yeah, it's cool that the Bills and Josh Allen beat the Ravens. They
Mm-hmm,
actually just let the Ravens beat themselves. I
mm-hmm,
gave you the stat on Patrick Mahomes game-winning
mm-hmm.
drives. We talked earlier this season. I am not betting against Mahomes and the Chiefs, especially not in the AFC Championship game. What is this? Their seventh in a row? Is
Yes,
it seventh in a row?
yes.
Yeah, I'm
The
not
only
betting.
team to beat them in the AFC Championship has only been two. The Bengals and the Patriots. Patriots had Tom Brady and Belichick, and the game that the Bengals won, of course, is Burrow and Chase. Um, I'm with you. I'm taking the Chiefs. We're not going to see any turnovers tomorrow. We're going to see the execution of a clean game by the Chiefs. No, they're not going to blow
You
them
got
out.
zero turnovers?
They're not going to turn the ball over. That's what they do in big games.
Let
They're
me
going to
get my
come out,
let me
and somehow we're going to be saying, why is Travis Kelsey so open?
let me jump
Why
on
is Mahomes getting away and throwing stuff from midair, throwing dimes?
my
Why? And that's
let me
what the
get
Chiefs done. Why I forgot Chris Jones was playing. He got 3 sacks.
let me get on
Yeah.
my one of my online gambling sites and put in less than point 0.5 turnovers. Let me find
Less.
out.
Less.
Let me
The
find out
line
Garland got no turnovers in the game. None?
none. The line
None.
none for the Chiefs.
What
The
about the
line is
Bills?
minus 2.5 for
Yes,
the
Bills favorite. Bills are
Casey.
favorite for this one.
No, I'm looking at ESPN bet.
Well, so this is my understanding. Um, home team always gets three.
Hmm.
So if the home team gets anything less than three, it's really favored for the visiting team.
Oh, okay.
Home team gets that's my understanding of it.
I
So
went.
if the
Hmm.
Chiefs are favored by 2.5, then they're really saying the Bills should win the game in a real close matchup.
Okay, the Bills ain't gonna win. Bills are not gonna win.
They're not
Bills are
going
not gonna win. And so, even if the referees have to see to it, the Bills are
to.
not gonna
Well,
sing.
so from what I read, the NFL, the referee and his crew, this referee um does not favor the home team in most of his games. The visiting team has won. And when it comes to the
Mm-hmm.
roughing the passer
Mm-hmm.
calls, he does not. They don't call them a lot, or something they were saying
Roger Goodell will call down
about
what y'all doing with these calls.
himself.
Anyway, yeah, I'm picking the Chiefs, and so let's keep on going. NFL coaching hires. As Calvin just found out the other about maybe 10 minutes ago, the Dallas
Yeah, earlier
Cowboys
today, this morning.
they chose offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer as the 10th coach in the franchise history. Schottenheimer, who's 51, he joined the Cowboys in 2022 as a consultant, and then at the end of that season, he was hired as the team's offensive coordinator. I think Kellen Moore went to take another job, and so Schottenheimer's father, Marty, of course, was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, the KC Chiefs, Washington Commanders, where they were the Redskins then, and the San Diego Chargers. A guy who always came close, but never quite got there. Never got there in terms of a Super Bowl. Uh, that was a shock. To me, that's a shock hire.
Yes.
That's a very shock hire. I did not have that on my bingo card that he would get that job. Um,
I
what are
didn't
your
even know he
thoughts?
was a candidate for any job, to be very
I
honest
did
with
not. I did not know that they had interviewed him. This is something totally out of the blue. Because I was saying I was hoping that Dion would get this job. I thought
you.
it was
Yeah,
it's a
man.
ready-made job. You got a good quarterback who's coming back in Dak. They just need to figure out a running back, but you have a number one receiver in CD Lamb. You have a number
Exactly.
one defensive end, and
Mikey.
and Micah Parsons, and so this team can reload quickly and be right back in the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did Dion turn. I'm wondering
yeah,
if
I'm
Dion turned
curious.
the job down, or they just didn't interview him, or what? Because
Yeah,
like I'm like you, that seemed like a match made in heaven.
right.
I mean,
If
jeez,
Jerry was interested in me, I would have been right on it. Because even if he did not give Dion a lot of money, the amount of money that Dion can make off of the field, just being the
exactly.
Dallas Cowboys head coach, way more than he could make, in the endorsements that he's getting now with Colorado.
I mean, prime time in Dallas.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't,
And
I don't get it.
because Colorado is never going to be competing with the Michigans, Ohio States, Notre Dames of the world. Yes, he's going to get great players, but they're not going to be up in that upper echelon. I thought it would be an excellent time to go ahead and move on, but such is
Absolutely.
life. Yeah. All right. Aaron Glenn, who was the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator, he agreed in principle to become the 19th non-interim head coach in Jets history. That's a lot. Glenn received a 5-year contract tying him to the Jets through 2029. He's 52 years old. He's a Bill Parcells disciple and is one of only two players in Jets history to coach the team. Do you know the other one?
Yes, I do.
Don't Google.
I no, I believe. Didn't they give Joe Namath a try?
No, it was Walt Michaels.
That's who I meant. His middle
Well,
name is his middle name.
yeah,
Joe.
Joe Walt, not Joe Willie, Joe Walt Michaels.
I thought they gave Joe Namath the shot at
No, he tried to get a shot at old girl on the sideline.
uh Susie Culver.
Yeah, he tried to holler at Susie Culver like,
You just a cute little
"You
look at
just a
you. You just so
cute little
cute.
thing,
So cute.
I just want, I just want to." He was like, "I just want to have a tongue fight with you right now. I would tear your little
Yeah,
ass."
Susie Colbert was straight just she just kept it
Right.
professional. Shout out to Susie. And it was uncomfortable for us. She didn't seem uncomfortable at all. Like she
Yeah.
used to turning niggas down. Like
He like, "I tear your
man, that was
little
over 20
ass."
years
It
ago. You know
was.
how long ago that was?
It's like, "I tear your little ass up after
Now
this game."
now
But
Joe
anyway,
do- now Joe doing those insurance commercials.
right.
There's no medical, there's no medical physical, there's no physical. If you're 65 and over, you can get it within 24
Right.
hours.
Joe was
It's
like, "Look."
Colonial Penn, ain't it?
Yeah, Joe was like, "Look, I just got my blue chew off a Colonial Pen, and I will tear your little butt up. Don't
Wait,
play with me."
was Joe wearing the fur coat that night? When he wearing the fur coat that
He
night?
was no, he wasn't wearing. I think he was, but he definitely was in her ear. Like, "Look, I just got this blue chew off a Colonial Pen. Holler at your boy." So to me, this hire means that the quarterback is not going to be back. Ayahuasca
Yes.
Aaron
Yeah.
is not going to be
Yeah.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad they gave him a 5-year deal. So we
Mhm.
off the podcast, Garland and the crew and we talk about black head coaches a lot.
Yeah,
And one of the things that Garland likes to drive home is that the black coaches don't get real opportunities at real jobs, at jobs
right.
that could make them successful. And this Jets job,
It's one of
they
those.
always seem to have the pieces every year, but nothing ever becomes of it.
Yeah.
And this could be another one. But they did give him
Hmm.
a 5-year deal. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that means that they're going to give him at least 3 years to try to turn this
I
franchise
hope so. And they hired him. They have not hired a general manager yet. And so that's a little concerning too, because the general manager can get in there and be like, "I want my guy." And so, we'll see. But yeah, we don't get the Dallas jobs. We get the Jets jobs. And so,
clearly
uh,
don't.
Yeah, we'll see. So Glenn, he did play with the Jets from 1994 through 2001. He made 2 Pro Bowls. Was a pretty good defensive back. The Bears, they named Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson as their head coach. Johnson, who's been the Lions offensive coordinator for the past 3 seasons, fills the job vacated by Matt Eberflus, who was fired on November the 29th. Johnson, he also is the 19th head coach in the franchise's 105-year history. We pretty much, I'd already called that. I knew that was once they let Eberflus go. I was like, yeah, there's no way they're going to let Johnson get by them. I don't care how many black people they interviewed. They interviewed Eddie George. They interviewed a whole bunch of black people. I think they interviewed Art Shell. They went up and dug up the body of
I was about
us.
to say, Arshel died, didn't he?
Yeah,
Ain't
yeah.
Arshel?
They went and got Arshell's body and they interviewed him. And so yeah, they interviewed a whole bunch of people, and yeah, I always knew it was going to Johnson. And so we'll see what happens with that. He's going to at least he's going to have a good quarterback.
I have a quarterback.
Going to have a
Ready
quarterback.
made, ready made team made to really can't do anything but go up. And actually, if you look at the Bears, a lot of their losses were last second losses. Their season could have looked a whole lot better without that Jaden Daniels last season, last minute, last second
Mm-hmm.
touchdown on the Hail Mary. I think that's where everything went downhill from there for them.
All right, and a surprise hire to me, Pete Carroll and the Raiders, they reached an agreement on a 3-year deal with a fourth-year team option.
When did
Uh,
this happen?
Bro, this happened on Thursday. Yes, so Pete Carroll, he's going to the Raiders.
What?
Yes, 73 years old. He is one of 4 head coaches to have led teams to both national championships in college and the Super Bowl. Who are the others? There's 3.
Say it again?
Uh, name the 3 head coaches. He's one of 4 head coaches to lead teams to both a college national championship and the Super Bowl. They didn't
Give
necessarily. Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
give me Bill Walsh, Stanford,
No, keep on
or is
going.
that George Seifert, Stanford?
Nope.
Neither one of them. Damn.
And it's easy for me because I got
College college
college and
national
pro. They've won a
and
college national ship. They've been to a
and the
college
Super.
national championship game and the Super
Did they win the Super Bowl?
Bowl. 2 of them did.
Nah, I don't know. Don Shula.
Uh, Barry Switzer,
Yeah. Oklahoma.
Oklahoma and
Yeah.
Dallas. Jimmy Johnson.
Miami. How did I not know?
Yes.
If I'd have said Switzer, I'd have got Jimmy Johnson, or
Yes.
vice versa. I'd have got them right there.
Yeah. So Miami and Dallas and Jim Harbaugh. Jim Bar, he's been to a
Because
national championship game with
that's
Michigan and
you know what?
Niners.
With San Francisco. That's why I said, did they win? And I don't know why did I literally said, did they win the Super Bowl thinking about
Yeah.
Harbaugh? And
Yeah.
I ain't even come back. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so over a run that lasted 14 seasons, he led the Seahawks to 10 playoff appearances, 2 conference championships,
Should have been two
and the
Super
franchise
Bowls.
only, yeah, should have been 2, their only Super Bowl win. Thoughts about that? I mean, he's pretty old. If they gave the job to Carroll, they probably would have gave it to Belichick.
I think the only reason they gave it to Carroll is so we can get the drama between Harbaugh and uh and uh
Yeah, that's gonna be something.
and the AFC West, because they do not care for one another.
AFC West is kind of thick right now with head coaches. You got Andy Reid, you got Harbaugh, you got Pete Carroll out there,
And Mike
um,
McDonald.
and Mike McDonald. Yeah, and Mike McDonald. Well, that's he's in the NFC. I'm talking about AFC. Who's in the AFC West? Oh,
Wait a
Denver.
minute.
You got
I'm
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got Sean Payton. So yeah, you got some pretty good head coaches out there, and so it's getting a little thicker out in the West. And the Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Cohen told the team Thursday night that he was leaving to become the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had interviewed him. I think they had offered him the position. It was like a kind of little saga around him taking the job, but he wanted the Jaguars to let go the general manager Trent Baalke. They kind of like, I don't think we're going to do that. So he declined and went back to the Buccaneers. They gave him the largest coordinator contract in history. But then they say, hey, we'll go ahead and fire Baalke if you come back. And so he didn't sign a deal with the Buccaneers, and he goes back to Jacksonville to be their head coach. He coached Baker Mayfield. Offense was very good, but it's good when you have those wide receivers. I
Mike
think you're going to,
Evans
yeah, Mike Evans and
and dude got hurt in the
yeah, and the Ravens game.
Ravens game. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens what he does down there with Sunshine as his quarterback. And so just a Rooney Rule update. There's 7 head coach openings. 5 have gone to white men. Patriots, Bears. Did I say 5? Yeah. Patriots, Bears, Raiders, Jags, and there's one more. Am I missing one?
Patriots, Bears, Raiders,
Oh,
Jags,
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Cowboys. The
An unknown white man. Well, he ain't unknown,
He ain't
but
unknown, but yeah, and the Saints job still is open, and one to a black man, the Jets, and so we'll see what happens with the final job. What happens with the Saints? The New England Patriots. I think it's good for the Ravens. I'll say this because there was talk that Munkin was being considered as a plan B for either Jacksonville or one of the other teams that just hired late. I think it was Jacksonville or even possibly the Raiders. And with both of those jobs now gone, we don't have to worry about that anymore. The New England Patriots, they're expected to hire Josh McDaniels as their offensive coordinator. This will be his return to the franchise for a third time. Now, there
nice.
are smart people who know a lot about football who think McDaniels is a brilliant offensive mind. And I would like to see a little bit more proof, Calvin. Maybe just one more time where the guy had a successful stretch of coordinating an offense without Tom Brady or Bill Belichick by his side. And so McDaniels, he has spent the majority of his career in New England, but he also spent 2 seasons as the Broncos head coach. You know, he was the person that drafted Tim Tebow. 1 season as offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Rams. I forgot about that. And a season and a half as the Raiders head coach. We knew about that. And so in his coaching stints, this has been his offensive rank during these years. At 2008, with the Patriots, the offense was in the top 10. They were 7th ranked DVOA. With the Broncos, when he went there for their 2 seasons, they were 20th both years. When he went to the Rams, that 1 season, it was 32, last in the league. When he came back to the Patriots, they were 23rd in 2020, 10th in 2021. And when he went to the Raiders, they were 15th and 27th. And so why are they doing these retreads? This guy, he hasn't proven to be good, but you know, these, like I said, man, these retreads, they get an opportunity all the time. This guy has not been, he hasn't proven to be a success without Brady.
But so I understand the Patriots bringing him back. I don't understand how this guy gets a job outside of New England. Let's not forget this is the same guy that accepted the head coaching job for the Indianapolis Colts, and then at the last minute, the day before the press conference, turned them down, said, oh no, I didn't really want the job. Like that right there should disqualify you from any other position with any other team. How did any team other than the Patriots hire him for anything? We know why. It's just that privilege, man. Like that's bullshit. You
Yeah.
Eric Bieniemy just got let go from his college position.
Right.
You think he getting another shot in the NFL?
New. Brian
Ridiculous.
Leftwich is sitting at home and he's won a Super Bowl as a coordinator.
Ridiculous, man.
Yeah, so Pep Hamilton can't get a job. So yeah, you know, it's amazing. I keep on saying it's amazing how, you know, we're supposed to have these rules to give minority candidates some exposure or better opportunities, and it's not translating out to be that way. Now we're at the favorite part of the show that everyone loves. Come on, yo.
Wait, I got a top.
Oh
I
yeah,
got
that's
a
right. Calvin got a top 5. I'm sorry, and I know it's involving somebody I know. So go ahead.
not necessarily, not necessarily. I got a top five, and in mourning of my Ravens, who seem to
That's why he
lose in
got them sunglasses on.
dramatic fashion every fucking season. They
Right.
seem to get eliminated in dramatic fashion. I mean, we'll talk about the days of the Steelers stretching the ball over the end
Oh
zone.
my God! Don't talk
We'll,
about that.
We'll talk about Lee Evans dropping the pass and then Billy Cundiff missing the fucking time. Like
That one hurt. That one hurt.
every fucking
That one hurt.
season. These are my top 5 disappointments in life. In my life.
Okay.
Not just in sports, but in my life, because I'm hurting right now, y'all. Like the kids say, I'm crashing out. I've been crashing out all week.
All right, like I'm scared. Go ahead.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Not getting a job with the fire department. I passed all the tests. I aced the test, passed the physical. They just never called your boy. They never called me back.
Oh, you could be working at the Ravens facility. My man, who's a firefighter, he's one of the firefighters that works at the Ravens facility. Shout out to Frank.
Well, thanks for making it even worse, Garland.
Thank
you.
I'm sorry.
Number 4. There are plenty. So I used to work at 92Q, and I met a lot of female celebrities. A lot of them. And there are quite a few that I let walk without getting the Calvin experience. Oh, I am disappointed in myself.
The club level Cal experience.
It's some of your favorite entertainers out there that if I'm ever single again, they owe me some sex.
Just quick backstory. Marvin Williams' son, he came to my summer camp one year from the Big Fat Morning Show, Marvin. Mm-hmm. Her son was in my summer camp, and Marvin's a cool person. She's very nice.
Well, Marvin's not one of them ones on my list.
I understand. Marvin worked at the station. She wasn't a celebrity.
Well, no, she's a local celebrity. I'm including local celebrities too. Okay. There's quite a few. One day I'll run the list down to you. One day.
Okay.
Maybe. Number 3. Perriman High School not letting Booby spin. Coach did not want to win. You gotta let Booby spin, Coach.
You gotta let Booby spin. Booby ain't had no knee. Booby went out there. His knee was hanging all off. He could barely get out there.
Still said, Coach, if you want to win, you gotta let Booby spin. Perriman did not let Booby spin.
What we gonna do? What we gonna do now?
Exactly. That's all he got.
That's
all he got. That's all he got.
Derek Luke he should have got an Academy Award. What we gonna do now?
He moved on to Antoine Fisher because I'm still standing. I'm still strong.
Waterbug. Y'all go and be great.
Number 2. The Baltimore Orioles. When we gonna win, son? When we going? You 2 playoff appearances in 2 years. One of them being the number 1 seed in the American League, and you got swept. Last year you got swept and only gave up 3 runs. Only gave up 3 runs in 2 games, and you got eliminated.
Man, crowd favorite Anthony Santander signed with the Toronto Blue Jays.
God damn.
In division.
He had bases loaded, no outs, and his ass popped up to the infield anyway in the second game of the wild card. So
he's great early in the season, though. I love him from about April through about August. He's fantastic. But once you get into September, October.
And the number 1 disappointment of my lifetime. We all know. We've been talking about it. We talk about it every week. The Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh-led Baltimore Ravens. I need y'all to do something. Do something. Get to the Super Bowl. Fuck all these MVPs, MV3, MVVs, my nigga. Win the Super Bowl. At least make it. All that, I'm tired of this shit. All that cussing you did, Lamar. Nigga, it's you. You did the shit. You ain't nobody else do it. You did it. Who threw the interception? Who put the ball on the ground so fucking what's his name?
Von Miller.
Vaughn Miller can pick it up
I
and
forgot he
chug a
was on.
lug.
I forgot he was on the Bills.
I didn't even know the nigga was still playing.
I was like,
I
oh,
thought he had retired.
yeah. I was like,
He
Von Miller still playing?
he chug a lugging down there.
He was
Thank
in the
God.
game that Joe Flacco threw that touchdown to to 12 in Denver in the Mile
Listen,
High Miracle.
he was him and his running mate. Him and
Elvis
his running mate.
Dumerville.
No, not Dumerville. The dude that went from Dallas and won it in Denver, won the Super Bowl in Denver
Oh,
with Von Miller. It wasn't Dumerville. I can't remember his name.
I know you. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Anyway,
He was a
but
defensive end.
do something, Ravens. We listen. The whole Baltimore needs y'all. Like, god damn, John, Lamar, get it the fuck together. I mean, shit. First of all, I've been bottling this. I've been waiting for this podcast all week.
Hey man, let it out. Tell him how you feel, son.
Do something. And I'm gonna let it stop there because this sounds like my come on yo, but I got something even better for my come on yo. But those are my five biggest disappointments.
Do I see tears running down behind your sunglasses?
No, let me cut this light down.
Are you okay? You okay? You need a hug?
Got me like Smokey Robinson. I'm tears of a clown over here. I'm defending you Ravens bitches all my life and shit, and just to get disappointment and gotta hear that shit from my non-Raven fan friends and shit. Tears of a clown over this motherfucker.
All right, everyone. Thank you, Calvin.
That's my top 5.
Sounds like a hurting 5. It sounds like
top 5 disappointments. Top 5.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. All right, y'all. I don't know if it come on yo would even suffice with this, but come on, yo. And I'll lead off. Let Calvin close again. Come on, yo. You guys that want to kill Mark Andrews, you guys that were saying all of these insensitive things, as fans, let's use some, let's temper our emotions. I understand it was an emotional game. I mean, when he dropped that 2-point conversion, I fell on the floor. I mean, we were in disbelief, and yeah, I was disappointed, but I think we just have to, and I think this is because the culture now that we're in a sports betting, sports book culture. Now these games take on more significance for people in terms of losing money and all of those things. It's not just fandom. I don't think that drives a lot of this vitriol. I think it's also that people are putting large wagers on money on games, and when these games don't come out the way that they've bet them, people are very upset. And so I just want to, be a fan, enjoy the team. Yeah, I got all my Pittsburgh Steelers fans on Facebook. They were waiting. I think they had their memes, they had their comments all typed up, waiting for the Ravens to lose, because as soon as they lost, everybody jumped on my timeline. But hey, when we were beating them down, I didn't hear from any of them. None of them were jumping on my timeline then. And so it happens, and it's unfortunate. Mark Andrews has been a valuable contributor to the team. He's going to be a valuable contributor next year. Yeah, it's disappointing, but okay, we live another day. Enjoy your team, enjoy the games. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the season. Yes, I'm a little disappointed that they're not going further. I would love them to see them get to a Super Bowl, and I think in my lifetime that I will get to see them, and I think I'll get to see them with Mark Andrews on that team. But let's not, let's stop with all these little threats and all these things. It's just uncalled for. It's a game. It's a game, and if you decided to put your mortgage up on the game, then that's on you. Okay, dial 1-800 need gambling help. But let's not let your need to hit the parlay, mess up how you treat people. That's my come
Yeah, death threats, y'all
on.
better
Yeah,
than that.
come
Y'all
on.
bet. And I honestly, I'm with you, Garland. I do not believe. Well, there are some crazy normal fans, but I
Hmm.
truly believe it has a lot to do with sports gambling. People probably lost a lot of money
Sure.
um, on that. Just in general, probably lost a lot of money. And what was the game line? I can't even remember what the game
I
line
can't
was.
remember what the game line was, but I know, like, even you think of the Chiefs Texans game, people were mad that the Chiefs took a safety
Hmm.
at the end of the game, and that messed up the money line.
And
And
Mark
so,
And would you
go
say
ahead.
Mark Andrews had 6 receptions? Somebody may have
Yes.
had him for 7+ receptions,
Right.
or over 6 receptions, and that hurt him. So
Sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah. So I understand we're in a different culture, but
um. So my come on, yo, yeah, Garland, this you involved in this one.
oh goodness,
You and my come on, yo. All right, so
why?
I'm gonna just tell y'all a little, just okay. I know that everyone in America hates the Kansas City Chiefs. And especially if you're an AFC fan, you hate the Kansas City Chiefs.
Certainly.
There's no reason for any of us, even us Ravens fans, to cheer for, root for the Kansas City Chiefs. I
True.
know this.
Hmm.
But as soon as my Ravens lost, you all started running for cover and comfort in the arms of another motherfucker's teams. This is all I saw on social media. Well, yeah, my team lost. Well, come on, Commanders, let's do it. Or yeah, we lost, but hey, Bills, just go ahead and beat the Chiefs. Anybody but the Chiefs. Oh, my team lost, but if you're Garland, you're not only putting Eagle pictures in the group chat, but you even said fly, Eagles fly.
Flying
I
Eagles
do
fly.
not understand. Listen. Fuck all of them. If my team ain't gonna make it, I don't want nobody to win. Now I know somebody gotta win, but that don't mean I gotta like them. And for you motherfuckers, that's like the Bills beat us, but yeah, y'all go and beat KC. If I get beat by somebody, I don't want you to win your next battle. I want you to feel the same motherfucking pain that I'm fucking feeling when the fuck you beat me. What the Scissor song say? If you wonder if I hate you, fuck you. Silly of you to make me feel just like this. What I would do to make you feel just like this. I need the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Bills. And I'm not rooting for them, but fuck the Bills. The motherfucking Bills yelled out, one of their fans yelled out as the Ravens left the field. Oh, now y'all 9 Pro Bowlers can make the Pro Bowl. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. And y'all want me to root for them against the Kansas City Chiefs? You know what the Chiefs did to me? The Chiefs made their motherfucking line. That nigga that painted chefs, he made
Yeah.
that white line a little too thick. And Isaiah likely couldn't get his big ass foot in there. That's what the Chiefs did to me. But you know what the Bills did to me? The Bills told me all week that Josh Allen is much better than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson ain't shit. And then when they won, look, we know who the real MVP is now. But fuck the Bills. Fuck the Chiefs.
They got some great buffalo wings, though.
You know what the Eagles did to me? You know what the Eagles did? The Eagles came into Baltimore and beat us and was like,
They were.
so Lamar Jackson's record against the NFC teams had 1 loss. Well, now we got 2. Good luck with the rest of your season. Fuck the Eagles.
They got great cheesesteak, though.
I mean, fuck, their cheesesteaks ain't better than Baltimore cheesesteaks, and I
Oh
stand on
Lord.
that motherfucker. I stand on that motherfucker.
God, let me move to the side, God. You go ahead. You hit him. You hit him with that lightning, God. And not
You know,
me.
You know what? You know what DC Commanders did to us? We beat them, but as soon as they started winning, and as soon as Lamar and the boys lost last week, oh, y'all know Jaden Daniels is so much better than Lamar Jackson. I mean, who the Ravens play next week?
That was
we
cool.
we really wanted y'all to make it to the Super Bowl so we could show y'all and beat y'all this time because we wanted the rematch. Fuck DC. Fuck Go-Go. Fuck Mumbo Sauce. Fuck the monuments. And fuck your new resident Donald Trump because fuck DC. And y'all want me... I'm so sick of you Ravens fans that are finding shelter in another motherfucker's house. How dare you? Come on, yo. And matter of fact, it ain't even come on, yo, because if you cheer for the DC Commanders, come on, Mo. If you cheer for the Philadelphia Eagles, come on, whatever you are, ho. And if you cheer for the motherfucking Kansas City Chiefs, it's come on, you nasty ass barbecue. I don't give a fuck who it is. Fuck all you cheering for another so you actually knocked on another motherfucker's door and they said to you, it's open. Come right on in, and you walked in that motherfucker. I would go in that motherfucker, drop some shit on their front door, and leave right the fuck out. Come on, yo. It's Ravens or bust. Baltimore or nothing. Baltimore versus all y'all whores. That's my call. That's my right.
The Joins in Philly. They're the Joins.
The Joins.
The Joins. The Joins in Philly. And so yeah.
I've been waiting to get that off my chest, Garland. You notice I ain't even text back after you did that. I put the phone down.
Forget repass as the title for this one is In My Feelings. Should be the title for this episode.
We can do that.
Calvin's in his feelings. Calvin's in his. He's deep in his feelings.
I might call it crash out because, like,
right.
I've been crashing out, son. I've been crashing out.
Club level crashes out. Club level crashes out because club level Cal has crashed out today, y'all. This is his third or fourth explosion. When I signed into the podcast, he's waiting for me. He ain't smiling. He ain't laughing. He crashed out then. He haven't hit the record button yet.
I've been holding it in.
I'm glad you got that out. I'm glad you have a medium to let this out. You ain't carrying it home.
Much better now.
You ain't around the house kicking the landlord and nobody pushing on Katina. Good. I'm glad you got. Yeah. Good.
I needed this. I feel much better now. Now I can watch the games a little bit tomorrow. I'm really not going to watch them because the landlord is going to see Paw Patrol down the Hippodrome.
So snap! You gonna be down there, Paw Patrol?
I'm not going. I'm gonna let his mother go, but I'm gonna take him down there. So I might listen to the game. I might not be watching the game. You know.
Passive. I'm with you. I'll probably just be on my phone or doing whatever, but the game will be on. So, everybody, thank you for listening. Hey, if you have friends who are crashing out like this, have them call 1-800-CRASH-OUT so they can get some help. You don't want to let them crash out like this alone. So if they're crashing out, 1-800-CRASH-OUT because it's a serious thing.
We're live on YouTube. You can catch us on all the podcast platforms.
1-800-CRASH-OUT.
If you have Spotify, you can literally.
You have been listening to the B.I.G. Show.
The
The show was produced and written by Calvin Coates and Garland Thomas for All Things Black Productions. Follow us on all of your podcast media platforms.
1-800-CRASH-OUT. Now let me go eat me a chicken box. All right, Garland.
Peace, bro.